Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be looking at the Vespid models 172nd Panzer Kampfwagen 5 Aus G Panther, and this is a sort of multiple boxing which has steel wheels, rubber wheels, anti-aircraft armour and a lot of the late features, so you can mix and match. So let's have a look and see what we got. So I've been wanting to showcase some smaller armour just for the sake of being diverse on the channel, I guess, and sort of trying to cater for all aspects of modelling, not just the things I'm specifically used to or interested in. And this is 172nd. So I've been wanting to do Vespid for a while because they're so well done as a kit form, albeit in quite a small scale. So we've got a whole load of sprues here, as you can see, and we've even got some tiny photo etch and a metal barrel. So we'll come back to the instructions in a moment. If we look at, first off, the photo etch parts and the metal barrel. Now this was £18 and I bought it at the $18.99 and I bought it at the Tank Museum. I think that's a very good price. So one of the obvious features of smaller scales is the models are cheaper because it's obviously a smaller model. There should be sort of less, how do I phrase it? It's not easier to do, but you don't have to worry about so much detail. If you think you've got, say, a 1/72nd scale tank, which is this big for a Panther, you don't have to do as much work on this scale as you do if you were to scale it up to 1/35th. And then it would be even more so if you scaled it up then to 1/16th and so on, because this area becomes so much bigger, there's so much more to do, and on it goes. So I'm not one for getting bogged down in builds myself, so smaller scales sort of attract for that reason. Now we've got decals here. It's quite, you can see the carrier film's quite sort of, I don't know, you can see it, it's blocky. Whether it's heavy or not, we would know once we put them on the model. But we've really got 301 in that kind of stenciled white lettering, 221 which is white outlined with black in the middle, and then 424 which is white outlined with red in the middle. And then we've also got some German crosses there as well. The metal barrel is a nice turned piece of aluminium, very nicely done. And we've also got a 3D printed muzzle brake, which is actually extremely impressive. And it's already cleaned up there, so we don't need to worry too much about anything. And you can even see the sort of nut detail there on the top, which is the sort of fixing bolt nut that they used on the muzzle brakes. Again, very small stuff. Then we've got the sort of generic Panther, the Vespid Panther photo etch set, which has got the grills for the vents on the top of the hull. So you've got the two round ones for here, and then you've got the four squares. And then we've also got some other fineries. I think this is, I can't remember what it is. I think it's a rain guard. Goes over the top of the gun mantlet. And a few other small features. And then specific to this one, this is the anti-aircraft armour, which I'm not sure how much was actually used, but it's often modelled. It's like a double layer. If you think like what the Schwarzen is, running along the side of, say, a Stug or a Panther or something like that, like this, which is meant to detonate the initial round so it doesn't then go on through. Well, this is a similar kind of aspect for anti-aircraft. It's meant to like ignite the rocket before it actually hits the armour, that sort of idea. So we've got all of those boxes. Sorry, plates and boxes as well. And all looks very good, very intricate, and somewhat challenging. So have a look at the hole sections here. We've got two holes, and it will become apparent what for shortly. Upper holes, I should say. So one has got the crew heater section and one hasn't. I believe that's the only difference. So this is here, you put a raised vent in there which has got the sort of section to it which heated the air for the crew. It's a later addition. Everything else is identical, I believe. Yep, So there we go. And then this is the lower hole, so this gives you an idea of the size for the Panther. Very good fit there, which is a good thing. So that's the sort of size that we're going to be dealing with. And you can see why it can appeal. If you can get past, obviously, how much harder it is to sort of paint detail and do a lot of the weathering, you could do quite a large scene in this scale, you know, more so than you could perhaps in 1/48 or 1/35. Everything's very nicely packaged. We've got a separate package here with the turret. And again, unconventionally, so something sort of specific to this scale is having this back plate sort of glued in. You don't usually tend to see it moulded in, sorry, and the cupola on, but you can get away with all of that in this scale. There are, and I must say that I'm going to struggle to catch them on camera here. Let's have a look. There are extremely fine weld beads all the way in here, which I think a wash would actually pick up. Yeah, I can feel them as I run along the cocktail stick. And that's the same here all the way along. In fact, this is often missed here, this weld bead, and these. So it's nice to see those featuring as well. Yes, it's very nicely done, this. Very impressive. So next up we've got the lower part, or the bottom of the turret. And then we've got the front plate where the mantlet goes on, and we've got 3 different mantlets. So we've got 2 with a chin. What's the difference here? This one has a sort of cast mark, not a seam line. This is a casting mark bead running along there. This one does not have that. And slightly lessened cover there for the machine gun. I think that's the machine gun. Might be the gun sight, that side. And that might be the machine gun. And then we've got the one without the chin mantlet. So these are late features, these chin mantlets here, that being the chin, to stop when you've got this. If you think the projectile could do that, when it's got the chin, it can't be pushed underneath. That's the idea. Then we've got tow cables here, very nicely done, moulded into an actual shape. And we've got a plastic barrel which has got a slide moulded hollow gun barrel. Fantastically well done, all of this. And we've got 2 sprues of Lincoln length tracks, and these are they've got the moulded in sag where necessary, and then they've got the flat parts. They look very good. The only ejector pin marks are in the middle here, which I don't think you're going to see, especially with the multi-layered wheels that a Panther has. Incredible detail, really, for this scale. It's all there, very nicely done indeed. And then we got the late idler here, which is this one, and we also have the, hang on, let's get this right. There's a late idler and an early idler. One's bigger, so this is the later one, the bigger one. That's the earlier one there, which is also a more simplified way of, a more simplified version is what I'm trying to say. I think you get both ones here, because that's important, because it not all late Panthers have every single late feature, and not all early ones have early features, so it's good to have all the parts you need, which we've got here. And I believe that is a spare wheel, a steel wheel, because this kit comes with steel wheels, as we've got here, and it comes with the rubber pressed road wheels here as well. So again, that gives you both options. And here you've got the swing arms and the crew doors for the hull, and you've got the different exhausts as well. I think we've got the flame dampeners as well in this. Yep, we've got all the different ones. So again, as they're getting later, the Panthers have 3 or 4 different, well, about 3 I think, different exhaust outlets. Sorry, mufflers or flame dampeners, and this is the one you'd be using for very late. They're the flame dampeners, and that is slide moulded. And I can tell you in there, all of the vents are showing, and it's better detail than what you'd get on most 1/35 kits. All the vents are there. Then we've got steel wheel detail. Very, very well done this. It's exceptionally well done. So this has got different swing arms for the different road wheels. Yeah, so this has got... They're two totally separate things. This is the earlier idler, I believe, which you do see on some steel wheels, because a lot of the steel wheels are actually 44, and then the later models that don't have steel wheels, they're back to rubber wheels, so they've actually got the earlier idler. That's why, I mean, that you've got to... It's good to get all the options you can. Yes, very well done. And lastly, we've got the rest of the later features. So this is the crew heater. These are the different types of rear stowage boxes that go on the back plate here. We've got two different sprocket hubs there as well for the different versions, like variants of later versions. The Schwartz in there as well, which you can. It's actually very thin, and you could cut down these lines if you wanted to pose it a little bit more accurately, or have one or two missing, which is often the case. I believe this door is this stowage box is the later door, which has got the space for... It's the stowage for the night vision, but I don't think the night vision's in here. The night vision light that they used to put on top of the cupola. I haven't seen that. Unbelievably, this is a machine gun here, the crew machine gun. This is slide moulded and the end is open. Absolutely staggering. Even more impressive, possibly the most impressive part, are the tool clamps here on this axe, and yes, that is open. Some of them have just got a bit of flash in them, but they are designed to be open. That's how they've tried to mould them. That must be at the limit of the moulding possibilities there. Truly impressive, this. And there's the 3 different types of exhaust mountings, which sort of go here and then the exhaust go off them. Right, and we'll just finish off by looking through the instructions. So they are nicely CAD rendered instructions, what we sort of expect these days now. There you can see the parts breakdown, where you've got 2 lots of photo etch, metal barrel, and the number of the parts that we've got there. And as we flick on through, you can just see how it sort of builds up. You've got to do 2 different types of wheels there. The Lincoln length tracks, crew heater or not. And then we get the upper hole going down with the rear of the hole going on, photo etch grills, crew hatches, machine gun, mounts for the side skirts, spare tracks, tools, different options for the different storage boxes on the rear, building up the turret, all the mantlet options, putting in the gun barrels, and then finishing off with the travel lock for the gun barrel, and then really locking into which option you're doing. So this is paint option 1, paint option 2 and 3, and paint option 3. Again with the flame dampeners going on here, the different types of exhaust there. Then if you're going to use the anti-aircraft photo etch, so they've got sections that go over the engine grills and over the turret roof. And then we've got some boxes here. I don't actually know what they're for. Oh, sorry, they're still the covering the grills. And then we've got first option is 2nd SS Panzer Regiment, number 221, and this is your steel-wheeled variant. Then we've got unknown unit, Germany, early 1945. Nice way around that. That is, I believe, no, not sure on that one. Again, this is posed as a steel wheel version. And then we've got the 4th Panzer Regiment, 4th Panzer Regiment 26, number 424, April 1945, Italy. And this is the one with the anti-aircraft parts on it. And then we've got a little advert for the other tanks they've got. So they're doing a range on the Maus, the Panther, and the Comet. That's what they've got going at the minute. So we've got different versions of the Maus. We've got a Panther, and 2 types of the Comet. The Mark 1B and the Mark 1A. Very impressive. So there we are. What an impressive model for 1/72. It really has come on considerably there. Very impressed. Everything's in the box to make an absolutely fantastic scale model in 1/72 scale. Obviously, it is small and it is going to take a little bit more patience, and it's going to be learning almost a new skill to work in this scale, but I'm very impressed with it, and it's looking forward to a sort of different modelling challenge. So that's the Vespid models Panzer Kampfwagen 5 Aus G. If that's something that's of interest to you, well worth checking out. And as I say, I bought mine for $18.99 at the Tank Museum.